Hi, this is Jello. I write and edit the So This Is Basicallys, and I'm here with Siv.
Hello.
Siv is the art person. She did My Hero Academia video and also this one. And she also did our 1 million subscriber video that nobody watched.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
Yeah, even Siv doesn't remember. So we're just briefly gonna talk about a few little things in the video, like fun facts, maybe Easter eggs and stuff, things that like either made it into the storyboard but not the finished product or vice versa. And then after that, we're going to talk about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 9, which we came up with a lot of ideas for, most, like 90% of which are not present in the actual video.
Yep.
So King Crimson is in there. And that was a weird shot to come up with because I had to make up a visual effect for King Crimson, who is a stand whose powers don't make any sense, and unlike Dio and Kira, there's no reference for him yet. I also had to make a sound, and Dio's stand already has like the and has a backwards ticking clock countdown. And
kind of sounds like farts.
So I also did a clock because the stand cuts out time or something. It's made of a reverse Big Ben clock chime, a ripping sound effect, a punch sound effect, and like, I think actually in there really quietly, I found this old sound effect I had of just me making a stupid noise called time reverberation through a fan, which is just me in front of the microphone going over and over again.
Oh boy.
And I don't know what that was from, but I used it here.
And you made it work.
So there's an early shot where, like, Araki's thinking to himself, the author, and then little clouds pop up, and it pans over. There was a shot similar to that almost immediately after it with the Dio and Zombies thing, where it was going to do the same kind of pan with dirt. But it,
you fucking left that out.
I couldn't get it in. There was not enough time.
And after you got so... Siv, you gotta remember the dirt. Yeah, okay.
Remember the dirt, Siv.
Remember the dirt, Siv.
That's the tagline for the weird artsy horror movie that you're starring in. I like, so most of the effects I didn't like storyboard in, like Dio does a time stop here. Instead I was just like, fucking, I'll try it. I'll see if I can make this.
And you made it really good.
Thank you. So, it was really easy because your coloring was good and inverting it made it look awesome.
Yeah. I think the inverted looked better than my regular ones.
It's like definitely more eye-catching, but I like them both a lot.
Yeah.
I should like flash some of those on screen because those effects are like 3 seconds long. I also made a fuck ton of alternate images for the opening manga thing where like the JoJo logo flashes, and I was like, how do they do this in Phantom Blood's opening? Because maybe I can recreate that. And I was like, oh, they have like 7 different frames that pop in right here. That's annoying. And I tried it. Here are the multitude of different things I made.
Oh yeah, I see those screen tones. Those look good.
That's I actually took those from the My Hero Academia video. That's the one I used to make the some of the backgrounds in that video have comic effects on them, so...
Shit, I didn't notice.
I think you did some things different than what I storyboarded lazily on the shot with King Crimson in it. Like, I don't remember...
I believe so, yes. Yeah. Let me see what you had for the original for that.
I often get very lazy, and I'm just like, well, I basically want her to recreate this anyway.
Exactly, yeah.
So...
I mean, for the Kira picture, I pretty much did 90% recreate it. Instead, I just took his fucking knees and turned it into a stance, so...
on the original storyboard, the most notable change is that Part 2 was originally Tequila cross-dressing Joseph.
Yeah, and I didn't want to draw that because it's ugly.
That's fair. I like the one you did for it.
What the hell's going on with his hair? What are those things?
I'm not sure. Maybe. Nope. No idea what that's even supposed to be.
Who knows?
My favorite part of like that you changed it to like a buddy thing of JoJo and Caesar is that I was like, if I'd never seen this series, I would assume the blonde guy was a Nazi.
Yeah. Well, it's that just I was thinking that while I was drawing, and I was like, oh, he's fighting him, and clearly it's like Indiana Jones, yada yada. I was like, oh, the people are gonna think that he's the Nazi, but he's not. Oh well.
Oh well, I mean, it's just Caesar. Who cares?
Who cares? It's just Caesar. After Amy saw the video, she was like, "Hey, did you base that one picture on Aaron Hansen?" And I just said, "Shh, stop it."
The best part was I was like, yeah, you're gonna do the Valentine shot now, right? And you were like, ooh, let me get a picture of Aaron Hansen's chin with no
I was so
hesitation.
excited.
I can't get over. I feel so bad because the shot you did for when Duran is under the. Oh, by the way, the name of the Tooth villain with Smash Mouth is Duran Duran.
Yeah.
The man with teeth, or however he's credited.
Teeth having man.
Teeth having man. That's it.
It's terrible.
That shot where he's under the light from far away, that background is so pretty.
Yeah,
and
no,
I was like,
I
hey, you know what I forgot in the storyboard was the dead dogs I need lying on the street.
Yup, and I was like, maybe Jello just forgot, and I just mention it, and it's something that doesn't need to be visualized. Last minute, her says you want to draw some dead dogs. Dag.
Oh, this shot of Joseph appearing with Hermit Purple was actually a huge pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Because like normally it's fine for a character just to like pop in, they just like appear, but I really wanted him to. First of all, I'd been trying really hard with this episode to make everyone like fade in and slide in and look nice, and there was no way to get Joseph's big fucking face in over like the slow period of time. I tried having him pop up from the bottom.
It's a slow joke. It wouldn't look right.
Yeah, and so I just had to fade him in, which looks really strange because it doesn't fit the editing rules of the series or the episode especially. I also had to re-render at the last minute because I somehow fucking missed the fact that Hermit Purple, the purple vines coming off of him, were like 20 pixels off in a random direction.
They were just kind of like hanging off the side of his head, and I was like, I guess Jello's just moving them there for the side because he's.
I sure just forgot. Like, I just put them there and never edited them to fix them, and like my eyes glossed over. And actually, for 48 hours, I didn't notice that error. That happens. Also, I know I already called you out on Twitter for it, but I do want to call attention to all of the Joseph in. Or not the Joseph. All of the Jotaro holding cardboard Kakyoin file names of Adasa, and it just goes on from there until like it's random keyboard mashing, except for Hamito Purple.
So for that, I don't remember exactly what was going on, but I believe I was in a Discord call with people while I was just like absent-mindedly just like autopilot naming the files and saving them as PNGs because I had finally gotten that entire batch done and complete, and I was like, oh, now I can just get through them and toss them in a folder, and then once I've tossed them in that folder, I can go through and properly name them. But I think before I did that, I went to bed or something, or we started watching something, or I got distracted, and then by the time I came back, you're like, oh, hey, Siv, can you send me that? And my brain went, right, I finished those, cool, off they go! No.
Yeah, I literally, I saw those and was like, I'm gonna do all the non-Part 9 scenes
You
tonight.
should have fucking told me, though, because, like...
I mean, I told you at the same time I told all of Twitter.
Why did you do that?
Because it was funny.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a lot of people who are, like, relatable.
Yeah.
Oh, really briefly, originally the line with Fugo in it was just... oh my god, it's hard to even remember what the real one was because I like the new one so much.
I think it's just, but don't worry.
Oh yeah, it was, like this poor boy who was dressed as a cheese. But don't worry, they replaced his clothes with blah blah blah. And like literal, like, I think the night before the video came out, I was like, I have a better idea. But don't worry, but do not weep for cheese boy. And usually every video, there's like at least one joke that like, no matter how desensitized I get to the rest of the video, there's always that one joke that every time I see it, I laugh. For this video, that was "Do not weep for cheese boy" and "United States President."
Yeah, no, that was a really good one.
That one took me a really long time, actually, because I kept changing where the national anthem cut out. And like to do that in Vegas, you have to like cut or stretch out like 6 different layers and then move half of the video to like account for those empty frames that you just created. Huh. And then you'd be like, that's not right, edit, undo, takes forever to move.
Okay.
Yeah, so you put in the Blondie shot with the advertisement, which I think we did a good job making this an entertaining advertisement.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about most viewers, but on YouTube, even if it's a channel I like, if they do the integrated advertisement at the end where it's like, by the way, do this, I just stop watching.
Yeah.
And if they do it at the beginning, I skip past it, or the middle where it's just like, time to take out a moment to talk about our sponsor.
Why do you throw that shit in the very middle?
Because sponsors like that the most. Because the earlier you put it in the video, the happier they are. Because that means more people are forced to see it without abandoning ship. But this I was like, yeah, can we like do an advertisement? Like, the reason I was down for this is because I jokingly said, I don't know, how do I turn Verve into a stand? It just makes money. That's a positive stand power. That the advertiser would like that. Now I need to come up with a JoJo situation where making money would kill somebody. Okay, she's hanging by her wallet.
So, here's the thing. Now, here's the problem with this entire video and the fact that we did it is that neither of us are completely finished reading JoJo. And, apparently there's a stand in Part 8 who pretty much has that power.
Yeah, I've been told that. My counterpoint is, so what? Araki reuses stands all the time.
That's
Sandman
fair.
stand is just Koichi's.
That's fair, yeah. No.
Oh, you drew me an extra panel in this last shot, which looks great, but
I sure fucking did. I don't know why.
And I remember I really should have stopped you because you flat out I was
said
in a call with you.
Works in progress.
You sent me a work in progress, and you were like, I need to take a reference photo of my hand for this shot. I'm like, what the fuck shot is that? And
I don't know why my brain saw that as like a hand, like her hand falling and reaching up for like the wallet and the money.
No, the thing is, like, when I got there in the editing, I was like, why did she do this? And then I scrolled all the way down because it's literally the last thing on the final storyboard, and I was like, okay, I can see why she would think that weird, ugly, exploding, vaguely flower-shaped thing at the bottom is a hand instead of...
Here's the problem with that, is that I knew it was supposed to be the wallet exploding, but my brain went, I don't want to draw that stupid fucking wallet again. So I'll just have, like, her hand there. And like, the money is, like, it's still floating in the air, kind of, because it's paper, and it's, like, yeah, going. But, like, my brain also noticed how, I was like, oh, that placement of that panel is really obstructive, and I don't know how it's gonna fit in there, but he asked for it, so I guess I'll just make do.
So do you want to talk about our ideas for Part 9, which we do not have a name for?
Yeah, we don't have a name for it, because...
So we conceptualized accidentally, because it was fun, a lot of the hypothetical JoJo
all of
Part
this
9.
was just us, like, joking around and just shooting the shit in Discord with, like, other people hanging around and just... Oh my god.
So we're like, okay, we need a JoJo protagonist. We're gonna, and since Araki just took Kira and Josuke from Part 4 to make Part 8's protagonist, and in Part 9 we're like, well, let's take Giorno from Part 5 and Jolene from Part 6 and combine them. I think you were like, yeah, their ages are 15 and like 18 or 19. So let's make Joanne 17. To be the exact in the middle. I don't remember why I wanted Part 9 to be in America in the 1950s, other than I like that aesthetic, and it hadn't been done yet. Yeah, but so, her stand does not appear. We did come up with a stand for her, and all of this was, like, just shit to fill space while we were designing her, because it took a while.
Yep.
So her stand is Electric Avenue, which was Siv's suggestion.
Yeah,
and
it's a good old bop.
It, quote, controls circuits, which would, I think, would be a good power for Araki, because he would be able to start with it, like, she can kind of control electricity in a way that, like, almost makes sense with electrical engineering, but then, like, as it goes on, she, like, beats someone by controlling their, like, blood circulatory system, and, I love the way we came up with for how she does beat, Floyd Blondie after she falls off that cliff.
Yeah, that's pretty silly.
he looks down and she's like floating on the money or something, like just standing on it. He's like, what the hell? And she's like, money goes through many hands. It goes through the economy. It creates a circuit, like money flowing through the economy. That's a circuit.
That is bullshit, but I believe it.
Also, she would totally be able to, like, defeat the final boss of Part 9 with some crappy, like, feel-good nonsense, like...
Friendship
the whole
is
world
a circuit!
Yeah, like, the whole world is a circuit,
yeah.
like, people communicating or something.
Yeah.
That could be the on-the-fly theme of Part 9 is communication.
Yeah, no, that did seem to be what we were going for.
We came up with a villain, but we'll get to them. So then we have the little milk boy, who's a combination of like Smokey, Koichi, Emporio, and Speedwagon. Mostly Emporio.
Emporio, yeah.
And because I like Koichi and Speedwagon a lot, and I actually don't mind Smokey as much as most people, but I actually don't really like Emporio at all.
Oh, I love Emporio.
I want to like Emporio.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
So, that's Willie. Willie Dustus, who I mentioned his name on Tumblr, and someone immediately correctly called me out for stealing his name from that old SNES brick of, names from, like, a baseball game that some Japanese guy had to make up American names, and I like that one. His stand is Milkshake, and it brings all the boys to the yard.
We were like halfway through conceptualizing his design. We're like, oh, he's a little milkman. Let's give him some cows. Guys, his stand is Milkshake.
I honestly really like, because like the joke was like, oh, his stand is Milkshake. He can bring all the boys to the yard. Haha. Wait. And I like the idea that he can clone himself an infinite number of times to like do chores and shit, and that's his stand power, but only in an area that is justified as his yard. So I imagine at first, like, maybe he also gets like 2 or 3 beats of power-ups, and at first it's like, I can only fight in my yard. But then, like, at some point maybe he justifies his yard as like the town, because it's like his milk route. Yeah. And it's like, that's in my way, like, this is a yard. And then by the end he's just like, I'm my own yard or something that makes no sense.
Some stupid shit, yeah.
And Willie definitely has the power that is really strong, and like Araki consciously chooses not to use it because it would break so many fights. Yep. So that's partially why he's a coward.
Yeah, and it would also be like the excuse of he can't be around to constantly help and fix battles and such because he's got too many chores and stuff to do. Yeah. And too much milk to deliver.
I think we decided that his mom was gonna be an antagonist. Like she was like a tiger mom who like forced him to do all these chores and like never.
Right. Joanne was his babysitter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Joanne is super cute, by the way. Also, people have been giving us fan art of her, and I love all of them.
I'm so happy.
She genuinely has a really good design.
I know, and I'm like, I want to use this for something else, but I'm instantly gonna get called out for it. I mean, like, I made this, but it's so clear the exact inspiration is just half Giorno and half Jolene. So that would be Duran Duran, the teeth-having man.
I love that as, like, his business. Duran Duran. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like like an old folk tale that if you sung it 3 times at midnight, he'd appear.
And he's like, that we could do that. He'd be like an urban myth in the town. It's like, oh, I don't want to go to the dentist, Joanne. They're gonna take my teeth. No, it's okay.
You know, the best part is, like, I feel like the alternate universe version of him where he shows up and fights them, they think the dentist is the stand user, but then it's like his receptionist for some reason. It's like, that's right!
You hire a guy who looks like that as a receptionist!
Like, tell me that's not that wouldn't play out exactly that
Completely normal guy.
Well, the thing is, like, he'd show up in 2 panels, awkwardly shadowed over in the background before he was revealed.
Yeah. But his design, oh, gee. We were like, okay, so we went through a list of all of the characters who Araki had already had dead animal prints as, like, animal prints as their clothing. And can I just point out something? When I first read that in the script, a man wearing a dead animal, I didn't think of it as, oh, my clothing has this animal print on it. I thought it was a thing about how, like, he hides people in dead bodies? Which he does!
I can understand.
So I was like, are you gonna draw me, or are you gonna make me draw a dude jumping out of, like, a buffalo? What's going on here? But,
Yo, I'd like to give a really quick tangential shout out to the most underrated JoJo moment, which is in fucking Phantom Blood, where they're just in a carriage with a horse, and they've been like in that carriage with the horse for an hour, and then a zombie bursts out of the horse.
Yeah.
Like it was inside the functioning living horse that whole time, and no one talks about that. That's a sleeper. That's my favorite scene in JoJo, and no one talks about it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so we compiled, like, a list of all these different animal prints and stuff that we could use, and someone was like, oh, do a giraffe, or do zebras, and we're like, yeah, these are options, and then someone was like, wait, he's teeth, let's make him a crocodile! Oh, fuck yeah! But, I had designed his character up until, like, I don't know, 75-80% mark, and I was looking at him, and I had, like, these colors laid out on him with, like, the green and purple, because they look all right together, and they're, like, very, like, in-your-face bold colors that Araki would use, but then I was like, man, something is missing on this. I can't here we go. It's got a turtleneck, but, like, half of the chest is just rectangles cut right out of it. Just right there.
The best part was I had a very genuine, surprised reaction to that, because I was like, so what are these, like, weird, what is this, like, totem thing he's wearing around his neck? No, those are holes I cut in his turtleneck. Oh no! Yeah, that was great. I think that is my favorite small design thing you added to anybody. Weirdly, we got a lot of compliments on Smash Mouth's design. I actually like Smash Mouth. I think it's a good looking stand.
Just this tiny little, like, Venus flytrap, like, chomper guy.
Yeah, that's honestly like. So, the power to control other people's teeth, I don't even know where it came from.
I don't remember where we even got that!
Yeah, it's been a running joke in our friend group as, like, a goofy thing to say. Like, we have it as a custom Cards Against Humanity card, so we wanted to throw it in something canonically, and it worked perfectly here. I think you wanted him to be, like, the guy who, like, the Yuya from Part 4, where he's, like, an antagonist and, like, randomly comes back as a semi-ally once or twice.
Yeah.
After he's defeated. Mostly because his power works well against the villain, who I do want to save for last-ish.
Oh yeah, of course. That's how it works.
We got Floyd Blondie, who is for anyone who didn't know, he held an open audition, and the other 3 characters were designed and named already. But the Verve villain was just anybody. Anyone could audition, and we design around him, which is why he looks the way he does. And I really love his little hair clips, actually. Not the coin ones on his back, but the little Verve ones in front. So what's Blondie's deal? He's like the shitty son of some well-to-do whoever, and he's like currently trying to make his way doing like door-to-door salesman shit or something.
Yeah, that's basically it. Is so he's in my mind is that he's like the son of the guy who owns so the town this takes place in, since it's middle of 50s America, it's Saint Morio, because we couldn't think of a better word for the second half of it, so it's just good old Saint Mario. And so that town's local radio, his dad owns it, and so of course this is this entitled little nerdy ass rich guy, but like clearly has never worked a day in his life, and now he's being forced to go out and actually make a living and try and do his family proud. So I like to imagine he's got like these little like briefcases of like I don't know what you'd call them, but like when you go and try and sell your tech door to door, and you've got like this big plastic briefcase that you open up and it's like clunky, and there's like a thing you wind on the side of it, and like he's selling radios, because of course he is, and he's a piece of crap.
Yeah, I imagine he'd like he never appears in a important context outside of the first time they fight him. Like he'll be in the background a few more times and like tell us some information.
I did think that the first time they do meet him is because he found out about what was going on at the dig site.
Yeah.
and
good
he stole the
transition.
mask.
Yeah, good segue. So, the thing we wanted to bring back that hasn't been in our hypothetical part 9 is vampires.
Yeah.
And the stone mask, because they just, like, fucking haven't been around for a long-ass time. So, like, the concept is maybe, instead of being a sort of Aztec, area inspiration for the stone mask, it's more like Middle American Aboriginal people. I keep saying, like, things that imply, like, Mexico down to the tip of South America, but I mean, like, breadbasket. I'm thinking, like, Kansas or, like, really unsettled, like, Indiana, Ohio.
Okay.
Somewhere in the breadbasket. And
okay, gotcha.
Somewhere there is an archaeological dig site, and they have just discovered a stone mask. So, there's maybe, like, 1 or 2 characters who become vampires, and I'm sure it's a MacGuffin that people want. What I really want, I would love a character, especially if he was, like, the third party member who is regular.
Yes.
Who is just, like, a gothy, just wants to be left alone, like, vampire who is either, like, I can't remember what we decided, like, he's either got, like, vampire parents and he is genuinely, like, in his teens but is still a vampire, or he's been a vampire teenager for, like, 200 years, which is the one I think I'd prefer.
I would prefer that also, because 50s America is when people started to really rebel.
I want him to be a beatnik.
Oh, yeah,
I want him to be, like, a finger-snapping loser poet who, like,
absolutely.
Who carries, like, a parasol with him, and I was like, what's with that guy, or whatever, and he's just a goddamn vampire, but he's, like, a friend, because we haven't had a friendly vampire in JoJo.
Yeah. No, we really haven't.
Yeah. And, I think the last thing that we fleshed out to any degree was the bad guy, who, if you want to talk about that, I think it's a guy, I think we decided.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, well, JoJo does need female villains. I don't know if Part 8 has that yet, but, like, main antagonist, female villains, but, we didn't want to do that because I don't remember why, but...
I don't remember why, I just think it's more believable that it's, like, a 50s, I don't want to spoil what his job is before we say
his job is that he's the radio host of St. Mario's local radio show.
In part 4, you've got the Mario Show Radio. And we're like, wouldn't it be fun if that guy was, like, in the background and narrating, like, you know, you hear him all the time. He's just, like, ambience or whatever. And then, like, halfway through the part, it's revealed that, like, he's the main antagonist. And I think his stand is called Video Killed the Radio Star?
No. It has to be Queen. So it's Radio Gaga.
Radio Gaga, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's been a while since we talked about this. I think the starting power he has, because he's a late game JoJo villain, so he gets like 2 or 3.
Yeah. They all level up.
But his starting power, I think, was that he could, like, if he reported something on the news as, like, a radio thing, it would happen? Was that it? Am I making that up?
No, that sounds about right.
Yeah, because I remember what we decided his stupid endgame, I now have some kind of time power that makes no sense was. And it might be fun if, like, he wasn't Blondie's dad, he was, like, he worked for the radio station.
Oh, no, that's what I was imagining.
Yeah,
I didn't imagine him as Blondie's dad. He's just some other person who worked there.
Yeah. It could also be a lady, but I think this might even be more fun if, like, she was, like, the occasional correspondent or something who was out and about in the town, but, like, couldn't get an actual job there because, you know, 1950s, and she's a woman. And, so that's why she barely has access to the radio that gives her power. Or maybe she's, like, a sound effects artist, or, like, you know, I don't even know how this would work, but I was like, what's a 50s thing? And I just pictured her as a telephone operator lady.
Ha! I love that. Or, like, what are those, like, radio shows that people do where, like, they actually, like, would read out books and, like, podcasts?
I think they were just radio. The radio
specials or something? I don't know.
And, like, I don't know, maybe her goal is to become a vampire or something.
Oh, you know there would be something about jukeboxes, too. Like, they would be able to control that somehow, even though it's not specifically a radio.
Yeah, Rocky's like,
hanging out at the malt shop, and suddenly the jukebox starts going wild.
Yeah. So, like, her power is activated when she gets to, like, say her story. And like, the either the 60 or 80% mark, they gotta like defeat her once, and then she comes back with her other stand. And she's a JoJo end boss, so she needs a stand that has something to do with time or dimensions, even if it doesn't have anything to do with that. But the explanation, like I remember fucking C Moon's ability to control gravity is like, gravity is directly proportional to time, and it's like, Araki. There's like, alright, well that's not 1,000,000% untrue, like I can understand why you'd think that, it's not true. So I was like, okay, what kind of time thing can we give her? And I don't remember the exact what it was, but I know my own excuse for giving her a time power was, well, especially in the olden days, when you talk into a microphone and it goes like through the sound mixer and into the thing that records it, there's a latency between when it gets recorded and when you say it. So she has the ability to like extend that pause or something. I don't remember what it was exactly. It was I
don't think we even worked on the specifics for it. It was just like up in the air concept, really.
Yeah, it was something like she could like elongate that pause and like move within it or something. Like it barely made any sense if it did, and it didn't. Yeah, but that was our general concept for part 9. We should come up with a name for it. Just to close this out for funsies.
Oh gee. Now this is improv. Okay.
It has to be we can cut out the pause, it's fine. It has to be something about communication, because I feel like communication is the big theme.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I think that's why I thought her stand was Video Killed the Radio Star, was because it starts as Radio Gaga or kills the radio star.
Yeah, right, because
and then it switches to the other one.
Yeah, you right.
And I think Radio Gaga is the super-powered one, because the Queen song is always the more powerful one.
Well, we did have, like, the little bell theme going on, because
Willie
had his little cowbell on his outfit, and that was just because we wanted something silly, because Araki tends to do that thing where he'll just shove metal on someone's outfit, be it, like, a brooch or a big stupid button or whatever. So we just gave him a cowbell, but then we're like, you know, they're like a small American town. There's definitely going to be a bell there somewhere.
It's like a church and a bell tower.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know, because I don't know what the fuck JoJo Leon means. I'm only like almost halfway through part 8, but I still don't know what it means.
Steel Ball Run is really on point. And then, like, Diamond is Unbreakable and Stone Ocean, both are, and Vento Ario, are all about the stand of the protagonist. So I think it has to be something with the word electrical. I'm feeling the word chime is maybe in there. Maybe if we can get something that means, like, what's the word for, you know, if, like, a radio station starts up, there's, like, a little jingle that, like, the boo-dee-dee, welcome back to our radio program, or whatever.
Oh, I don't know what that, the tone? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, come up with one that isn't just an anime campaign title.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be a little hard.
Yeah. I'd love to have the word jingle in the title.
That would be really great.
Like, electric jingle something. Oh, man. Jingle Avenue.
That's pretty good. That's Main Street in St. Morio.
Oh, it's just called Jingle Avenue. Or maybe that's the radio station's name.
Aww.
I like that. Jingle Avenue.
Yeah.
I feel like it might need one more word, but it's pretty good. It would be called, like, Our Jingle Avenue or something.
Oh, God, yeah, it would be, campy as hell.
Oh, and right there, Our Jingle Avenue, OJA, that's Jolene's punching something multiple times sound effect. It
doesn't even make sense!
It doesn't matter.
Oh, there it is.
Our Jingle Avenue. That's great, I love that. Alright. Well, so thanks to anyone who listened through all of this, and thanks Siv for drawing a really good video. Everyone really likes your art. That's what most of the good comments are about on that video.
That's great! Thank you! I am glad that you let me draw this video, and I'm glad everybody digged it.
Bye!
Bye!